Welcome to Barbara's Bulletin, the podcast where we dive into the most pressing stories of the day. I'm your host, Barbara, and I'm glad you're joining us for another episode. Today we're starting with a story that has sparked intense debate and discussion across the UK. The Supreme Court recently ruled on the definition of woman and sex in the 2010 Equality Act, stating that these terms refer to biological women and sex. This ruling has significant implications for transgender individuals and their access to single-sex spaces. The Equality and Human Rights Commission, or ERC, has since issued interim guidance on single-sex spaces, which has been met with criticism from some quarters. The Green Party's co-leader, Carla Danier, has called for the guidance to be withdrawn, arguing that it puts trans people at risk of discrimination and flies in the face of Britain's tradition of tolerance. On the other hand, the UK government has welcomed the Supreme Court ruling, saying it brings clarity for women and service providers. The Cabinet Office Minister, Pat McFadden, has stated that the logical consequence of the ruling is that people should use facilities corresponding to their biological sex. It's a complex issue, with valid concerns on both sides. Some argue that the ruling and guidance are necessary to protect the rights and safety of women, while others believe they will lead to discrimination and marginalization of trans individuals. As we explore this story further, it's essential to approach the topic with sensitivity and respect for all parties involved. We'll be examining the implications of the Supreme Court ruling and the ERC guidance, as well as the reactions from various groups and politicians. We'll also be looking at the potential consequences of this decision, including how it may affect trans people in their daily lives, and what it means for businesses and service providers who must navigate these new guidelines. The debate surrounding this issue is far from over, and we'll continue to follow developments and bring you updates as more information becomes available. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. We're halfway through our show today, and I'm excited to share with you a collection of stories that caught my attention from around the world. First off, let's talk about some economic news. California has announced that it has overtaken Japan as the world's fourth largest economy in terms of nominal gross domestic product. Product, or data product. This is according to data released by the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, with California recording $4.1 trillion in nominal GDP in 2024, slightly higher than Japan's $4.02 trillion. It's interesting to see how regional economies within countries can have such significant impacts on global rankings. Moving on, we also have some updates from the world of politics. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba of Japan has embarked on a diplomatic trip to Vietnam and the Philippines, aiming to strengthen security ties with these Southeast Asian countries amid China's increasing maritime expansion in the South China Sea. This is part of a broader effort by many nations to navigate the complex geopolitics of the region. In another development, the remains of Ainu people from Britain are set to be returned to Japan. The Ainu are an indigenous people who traditionally lived in Japan and Russia, and this move comes as part of ongoing efforts to repatriate cultural artifacts and human remains to their communities of origin. This is a significant step towards reconciliation and recognizing the rights of indigenous peoples. Lastly, for now, we note that after the funeral of Pope Francis, attention has turned to the conclave, the secretive meeting of cardinals that will elect a new head of the Catholic Church. The funeral saw an estimated 400,000 people in attendance, reflecting Pope Francis's popularity and his commitment to reform within the Church. These are just a few of the many stories unfolding globally. Each one offers insights into different aspects of our interconnected world, from economics and politics to culture and religion. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we wrap up today's show, I want to take a moment to discuss the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. The situation has been escalating in recent weeks, with both sides suffering losses. According to reports, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has stated that his country's army is still fighting in Russia's Kursk region, despite Moscow's claims of having fully liberated the area. This development comes after a meeting between Zelensky and U.S. President Donald Trump on the sidelines of Pope Francis's funeral, where they discussed a potential ceasefire. It's worth noting that the conflict has been ongoing for over 3 years, with Russia seizing parts of eastern and southern Ukraine since launching its offensive in February 2022. The international community has been calling for a peaceful resolution to the conflict, but so far, no lasting agreement has been reached. I want to emphasize that Barbara's Bulletin is committed to providing fair and balanced coverage of this complex issue. We strive to present all sides of the story, without taking a stance or promoting any particular agenda. Our goal is to inform and educate our listeners, allowing them to form their own opinions on the matter. In recent days, there have been reports of fighting still ongoing in the Kursk region, with Russian military bloggers and local commanders confirming that operations are still being conducted. Additionally, North Korean soldiers have been praised for their heroism in the conflict, marking the first time their participation has been publicly acknowledged. As we continue to monitor the situation, it's essential to remember the human cost of this conflict. Civilians on both sides have suffered greatly, and it's crucial that we prioritize their safety and well-being in any future negotiations. That's all for today's Barbara's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged.